Great presenters sharing. The first presenter is an architect, a bio construction. He'll be sharing some of his work in Adobe, Supermud construction, and other awesome things. Our second presenter will be Carlos, who will be sharing the Tulum development plan. Like, Tulum is this big on the map, and it's mapped out to be about this big, bigger than Playa del Carmen. So it's coming, jungle's gonna get cut, and the best we can do is be aware of it and push for more conscious development. By positioning ourselves with the knowledge, we can support the right people in the right situations to protect Tulum in a way. And the third will be a representative from PetBast, an amazing company, Regenerative at best. You know, they are turning plastic waste into energy. Diesel gasoline, kerosene, gasoline, and paraffin, right, wax. So without any further ado, thank you guys for joining.
QR.
We're gonna pass around a QR for everyone to sign in. We're gonna go person to person. You can scan or you can sign in on one of our devices to get a registry of everyone so we can send you the notes from the meeting afterwards. So go ahead, short presentation, tell us, and a few.
Cool, thank you. It's an honor to be here, and I want to thank Frances that she invited me to this conference today, and I hope to learn more about everyone here in this room tonight. So first of all, I'm Miguel Vasquez. I'm an architect, and I've been working with Super Adobe, and also known as Earthback, since 2010. So I will show you some of the highlights of the technique, so you can see what it's about. So this is Super Adobe flying away. So what is it? Super Adobe is a modern technique which uses ancient knowledge about the building with the earth, as we used to do before the concrete. So we've been building with the earth more time than we've been building with the concrete. Concrete is pretty new. We've been building with concrete less than 150 years. So, with that being said, it means that Adobe is as resistant as the concrete. No, the thing is, we should know how to use it properly. So, first of all, I want to share with you the creator of the technique, which is an Iranian architect that moved to California, called Nader Khalili. And this guy used to live in the Iranian desert, where he lived around these beautiful domes made out of dust or earth, and he saw that they were more than 1,000 years old, and they were still standing. So when he thought about why we stopped doing this, he developed this technique, but in a modern way. So what he said is like, what is all around the world that we can find really easy? First of all, is soil. Everywhere in the world there is soil beneath us that we can use as a material. Then our society nowadays, we use these kind of bags, plastic bags, where we put all kind of elements like food for animals, everything, grains, corn, whatever. And we also have barbed wire that we use all over the world, from China to India to Latin America to Africa. So he put together these elements and he developed this technique, which is basically a modern way of building Adobe, no? and a quicker way. So why should we do this? It's because it's really easy to build with. Anyone can build it if they are trained properly. And it's also very versatile in shapes and forms. So we can do round shapes, we can do square shapes, and it's really easy to do. And also, this is the way we do the mix, no? So the first step is to do the mix, the mud mix. We can do it with mud, but we can also do it here in the peninsula. We are doing it with the sascab, which is the local kind of soil, let's say. So we can do it with that as well. And the only trick about it is that we have to add lime, which we can also find all over the world. And then we put it inside the sandbag, and then we do all the procedure to make this kind of construction. So if you're familiar with this system, you will see that these are the airbag system, let's say, and we can do these straight lines, or we can do curved lines, and we can do it in this kind of shape when we take it from a roll. It looks like a huge toilet paper, and then you can put it all the way of your walls. But you can also do it with the single bags that you can also find and you can reuse. So it's really easy to get the material, and for me the best way to do it is with these kind of rolls, because it makes it gets stronger whenever you are building. So it's the best way to do it. So talking about the mix is basically three elements, which is the earth, water, and lime. So put together, we will have this kind of mixture. I started building in central Mexico, where the soil is really good for this, and so we cannot find this kind of soil here, but we will find the scab, which is it's also good, but it's not as plastic as the soil in central Mexico. But it's still good for it. Where here you can see you can do it like really handcrafted, or you can do it with machines. No, of course with machines will save time and money, so it's better.
Substituting sand with soil will work in the same way.
Sorry?
Substituting sand with the soil will work the same way.
Yeah, exactly. But we will have to experiment with the percent.
Bonding agent like that we have to experiment.
Exactly. But I mean, we have a record for
Making soil, you are saying that you will care the soil particles on the composition of soil is not working that perfect. So that type of experiment.
Yes, and that's a really good question, because the main thing about super adobe is that the soil is important, of course, but what keeps it together is the base, which works as a wood form, So you contain the mix until it gets dry. So when it gets dry, it will act together as a one piece, a monolithic exactly. So that's the thing that you have to do. The disadvantage here is that you cannot use this soil for the plaster, So you will have to use common plaster.
Biomass material we can mix or like grass biomass sort of thing to reduce with the mud, so they have the bonding agent together. Or we can have to line something like wire, metal wire.
Yeah, we can use chicken wire, and we can plaster it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And here in this area, what is recommended from us is that you do a common mortar plaster on the exterior, and then the lime plaster in the interior. So that will keep it safe from the water, and the moisture that is around us. So these are like the main 4 steps on the construction, which is the mix, doing the mix, then carrying it from where the mix is to the place where it's being put into the sandbags, then put the sandbag inside, and then the most important thing is about the compression of these elements, because the forces that are really working is the compression in this case. So all of the elements that we are doing are called load walls. They are structural walls that are working all of them together. So in that way, it is really safe to build with this system, because it's earthquake proof and also bulletproof because of the size of and it's very important in this. And then this the same scheme that we were seeing, but now with pictures. You can see that we can do the mix with the stick. We can put inside the bag with this bucket, sometimes it's easier to cut the bucket because it's sometimes heavy and it's easier to put it inside. And then we do the compression of the air bucket, which will give the strength of the system. We have to make sure that whenever we are pushing it, we will know that it's ready when it goes like a click, like it sounds like metal. So that means that it is already compressed to the maximum. And here are some pictures of some of the work in Mexico, in central Mexico, that we've been doing in this square shape and also in this round shape. This was my first house in the Tepoztlán. It was like a really cool house because it was two domes connected by the living room. And this is a system that we, as you can see, you can put also some other elements such as the stairs that will get into the walls. So there is no way they are going to move. They are already into the structure, which is really good for this kind of system. The only disadvantage if you want to add some stuff or some extra stairs or some another elements, it is really hard like to make it because it is working already in one piece.
I think in the last one, what the only way it is an your statement. What is the concept you are talking about? Like, I didn't get it.
The disadvantage is that once you have to plan the elements that you are going to add to the structure really well while you are designing, because otherwise it will be really hard to add some other elements such as stairs, such as windows, doors.
Initially we can plan accordingly, so the advantage like afterwards we cannot do this.
Exactly. You can do it, but it will get you into problems. No? So it's better to do it before, right? Then we have this barbed wire that you can see here, which is going to work as a mortar. Whenever you have bricks, you put some mortar in between. In this case, it works like it because what? Yeah.
At that kind of shape, but this is not having that. It's cylindrical, so why will work better?
Yeah.
Because it's like cylindrical from the top.
You can also do it when it's a square shape.
Okay, in square shape.
In square shape and in cylindrical shape. The thing is, this is for safety, for work safety, because while you are getting higher and higher, it is dangerous to be like pushing the back, no? So this keeps you really safe because it keeps the backs, every layer of backs will be like, I don't know, yeah, attached. Here you can see that's the barbed wire. This used to be like the proportions in central Mexico, which I am not using anymore. Here is really different.
Can you share the basic proportions?
Sure. I mean the basic proportions, and you will have to do some experiments. I will tell you later. It's first of all you do a soil test. Let's say you will dig a hole of approximately 2 feet. No? To get like the proper soil to build, because the other layer is like for the I don't know, like black soil, which is good for the plant but not good for construction.
Because it's after hunting, get dry.
Exactly, it gets cracks and all that. So you will see the proportion of sand, limestone, and clay. No, the clay is what keeps the mix together. And here in the Yucatan Peninsula, it's really hard to find clay. So the soil that we use, called Sascap, it has another proportions. It doesn't have much clay, but what it has is lime. It has already lime on it. So that makes it hard, really hard when it gets dry. No? And when we mix it with some other lime, which is like bored lime, it will get really strong, and you are able to see any of our constructions around, and you will see how hard it is. And then the finishes. There's plenty of finishes that can be done with it. You can go with traditional finishes, just with plaster mortar, and also to do it with earth plasters. And you can add normal paintings, and you can also do natural paintings. No? So it is really versatile with this. You can also do these kind of things. I've never done it because it's it's for me it's really hard like to control the moisture inside, so it might get some humidity inside, which is not good at all for the structure.
Recording in progress.
Then this kind of rustic finishes. This is a house that we did for some families after the earthquake of Mexico City in 2017. It was really quick to build, and it was really inexpensive to do also. And we did in the traditional shape of that area, which was really good for the families, because they didn't. At the beginning, they were like really hesitating about building with the super adobe, because they thought it was only rounded shape. But we proved them that we can do it also in square shape, which were like their houses. You can also put some, let's say, normal kind of glazing. No, we can use wood for glazing. We can use also aluminum. Iron, anything that we can mix it. It's very good for any kind of window doors. This is the first house that I did was in Tepoztlán, and I showed you before the process. And now this is how it looks. Right now you can see the two domes. The other one is like a normal roof, you can say, and then the other one is just the dome. No, all of it is with earth plaster, and that was colored with the lime, and the other one was colored with the earth that we use for building, which has this color. No, then this is like the basic structure. You can see this elevation where we can explain the system, how it works. These are the foundations that are made out of stone, natural stone, that we can find in any place. Then you put the sandbag, but first of all we need to add this steam barrier, we call it. Because the most dangerous water, it doesn't come from the rain, it comes from the soil. Whenever the sun hits, it goes over with the vaporization, so it gets there, and that can damage the structure. Then you can add any kind of things like windows, doors, decoration, anything that you want. Then this is how it looks, the other one that I was showing you. And this is the way to organize the teams. No? The best teams, they have to be minimum 4 persons working, 4 workers. And I've done this. It can be also men, women, young people. It is really easy to do. No? So it can be hard because of the weather conditions. But once you get it, it's like it's easy. It's not as hard as to be a mason, to be measuring and doing all that. No? And why 4 persons? Because if you take out one of these persons, you will make it harder for the rest of them. So the minimum is 4, but you can also do it with 5 or 6, up to 7. Then you will have to split in 2 teams or 3 teams, but never less than 4. No? Then these are like kind of the coasts in Mexico, central Mexico. Here are a little bit lower. I will share with you then the coast that we have over here. And these are some examples. Approximate? Later? The previous guy, sorry. No, this is like what they do per day. No, so they do half cubic meter per day.
So 0.75.
Sorry.
0.75.
Yeah, but that's for the you do foundations is the first one, 0.5, then 0.75, sorry, for the sandbag, and then the plasters 3 square meters a day, and then the painting 45 square meters a day. But I have to update it to this area because this is for central Mexico, and it's not for here because here is lower because of the weather conditions mainly. Then here are some examples that we have all over the world. And another interesting thing is that you can also do it for some other uses. In this case, we were building a football field. So we did the grains with this, we call it arquilla, which is this bag where we put the lemons, the limes, and the oranges also. And it's really good because it is already open, so the net is a little bit open, so you have to put the mix a little bit drier, so you don't splash it into your face. So, but it's quicker, it's really quicker, and then you don't have to put the barbed wire because of the texture. It gets attached really good without it. Then we have this example in Colombia that I like it. And here it was like a little floor plan of a basic house, which is just the dome and then a room attached. Not like just a model of a single home. Then there are some pictures of this house in Tepoztlán. You can see the finishes. We also have some bamboo walls for the demising walls inside the house, and also the handrail, which was done in a technique called ferrocemento, which is basically rebar with some how do you call it, like some mortar or some plaster, and you can get these organic shapes. You know? And we have this one, which is inside of one of the domes. So one really good thing about it is that you can put some light above it, so you can avoid the lack of light inside, because sometimes it gets really dark. So whenever you put, I forgot how to say it, like this.
Light right in the
Yeah. So basically, this is like a really quick talk about this technique that I love, and I hope you enjoyed it.
So yeah, so Super Adobe, the purpose of today's meeting is to be introduced to different projects and different techniques that can be considered regenerative. Right? Many people ask, what is regenerative? And so we've kind of summed it up to the one line. A regenerative project or situation is a sustainable system that makes a net positive impact. So something like this takes something from the land and builds something that creates a positive impact for the people living in the space, for example, without really having to pull from other sources or take other things. So thank you for sharing this. Awesome. Our community lived in Adobe Superdomes for quite a bit. They stay cool in the summer. They keep the temperature. It's almost like an icebox inside. So super cool technique. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Right, and pretty, like very well used in places where there's clay. So here in Mexico, but not here specifically.
Yeah.
So other topics from Regen to Loom. I'm going to shoot a little updates in between the next presenters. Whoever's the next presenter, you can come and start setting up. Give me Petras and Carlos. Carlos, why don't you go ahead? You ready? All right, other updates from Regen to Loom. We will be hosting tomorrow our regenerative mixer and kind of networking day at Puya Bay, a regenerative community that's about 25 minutes west of Tulum towards Coba. It'll be a half-day event starting at noon. We'll have some regenerative networking time for all of us to meet, connect, share who we are, what we're doing, what brought us to the table, and ideally create some next steps for each of us together or all of us as a group. There'll be a presentation for Day of the Dead, like what is it? What is the tradition about? Part of regenerating is keeping with the indigenous and traditional cultures of places, especially the Day of the Dead ceremony is one of them here in Mexico. Throughout the day, there'll be food, there'll be some music that also shares the indigenous culture, and just some general connection activities for us as a community to come more and more together. Our next presentation is from Carlos. He actually helped our tribe find a home here in Tulum, a 4-bedroom in Aldea Zama. It's awesome. We're really enjoying it. And in that talk, I had just returned from Mexico City. where I discovered a community garden there, right in the middle of the city. Beautiful space, and it kind of made me think about what will Tulum look like in 10 years when it's the size of Playa or bigger. And I shared this with him, and he showed me an AutoCAD drawing of what Tulum looks like now and what it will look like in the next 10 years. So he's going to share this out with us and some of his thoughts with his expertise in the real estate space. Thank you, brother.
Hello, how are you? Well,
Good.
I'm a little bit nervous, so please understand. I'm not an English native speaker, but I will try to do my best. I wrote this, and a friend, she helped me to correct all the ideas, and also she gave me some more ideas. So this is not just mine; it's also some people. So actually, what I want to just to inform, I'm not related to the government. I'm not related to the municipality. I'm just a broker. I work for a company. I sell lots, lands, properties here in Tulum. And I have a different perspective of how this has to be done. How you have to approach the clients and how you must show Tulum to the client. So from there, it comes this idea of showing a little bit about. So just I want you to see a little bit. This is Tulum, how it looks right now. You can identify the areas. We are right here. No, this side right here, the Fifth Avenue. This is a curve that we can get it for the next fight in the next. So this is the planning that the government has for what they have for the next following years until the 2030. Okay, so this is the way it's going to look like. So just to compare with this, yeah. So you can see the difference. This is like Beretta, Region 15, Meca, Downtown, Oriasama, the Big Zone, Region 12, that is Region 12, or it's the middle that. So actually, this is the planning of the government. But they're pretending. And if you see this right now, in all these areas, you see green. You see green here. I mean, this is not really like updated, but most of it, the Google map. But this is still green. These areas here, going to Macayo Gomez and Mai also. So I was telling Oscar that I'm a little bit concerned if we know what's the plan that the government has for the city. So I came here to share about the future of Tulum, of our Tulum in terms of the urban development plan set in motion by the government. According to the document that the municipality wrote 10 years ago, it is destined to become a city like Playa del Carmen. Personally, I do not like it because I would like to see Tulum stay as a small town or village with the jungle still intact and buildings surrounded by nature and palm trees fences. But the reality is that it was visualized as a big city with buildings, streets of 2 or 3 lanes, cinemas, malls, supermarkets, etc. Many would say this would become another Playa. And unfortunately, that's where it's headed in the future. Let's say in 20 years, if you see Google Maps and zoom in on Tulum, what will it look like? same as Playa or Cancun? Maybe. The government plan is in one way or another, is the cornerstone of what is going to take place. But we can influence the ways these things are going to be done. That's the main idea, I think. Do we want to make the building sustainable? Can we introduce a plan for garbage problems and create local recycling facility? Can we properly treat water and take sewage, black waters, waste into consideration? Or is it going to be the same as the other mentioned cities? So I'm putting these three things, but I think they are the most important. If we would like to turn that plan into something different, or successfully modify the direction of Tulum's urban development, we need to work on creating focused strategies and proceed with concerted efforts. Doing reforestation work is amazing, but we need to consider the government's plan in these works. So the trees we plant remain there forever, instead of getting cut down 5 years from now. We need to know where the designated green areas are located on the map to ensure this. The Mexican government often blocks initiatives geared towards sustainability and improvements because a lot of these issues are relatively new and there isn't a clear set of laws in place to deal with them. One way to address this is to start working directly with developers and constructors, promoting water filtration and treatment plants, implementing solar panel systems, and other sustainable practices. Constructors are not the government. Both want to make the best profit. Unfortunately, this is Mexico. But these people can be influenced to think differently. I believe they can be inspired to think about the necessity for sustainability and consider the care of water, trash management, etc. We have to find a way to work with people who value profit above all else, as they don't care what they need to do to build 100 studios in a 3,000 square feet land. As foreigners, you are in the position to influence these things and may be able to offer solutions that work better because you have seen them work in your country. Let's love the Mayan soil that is adopting. So, yes, I think, well, everything is what I just said. So, if you have any questions, yeah.
Just like this.
Yeah, this is the version of the city that is going to be built in the following. So all this area here is not built yet, but it's already like planned, designed, right? And the different areas they have different densities. Because let me show you another map for with our time. This is the densities map. Like to me, we will see here probably could be related to buying a land or building or something. We would have listened about H1, H2, H3, and all. So here's the densities that the city already took, like H2, H4. So that's the different levels that can be up in a building. But what is important here is like as you're approaching more to the ocean here, you have this water underwater streams that they go to the beach now. This area is region B. We are right here. And in this area, going a little bit more to the south, you will see this place. This is Cenote Quizal, this is Cenote Escondido. You know? So this area is really protected right now. But also, sometimes the developers come and they want to build whatever. So, well, that I just wanted to share about it.
Any questions?
Can we use the computer for the last?
Yeah.
Can you send me?
You have any solutions as a broker? Talking with other brokers?
Well, yes, we speak with other brokers, but most of the brokers they work like lonely. They work more isolated. They are trying to make a sale and close the deal, and that's it. It doesn't matter sometimes. Like if you tell your client, what we do in our agency, we talk with the people and see what they want. Depending what they want, we just direct them to the place that it should be. You know? Because going from the main avenue to this side, we want to protect it more. You know? Also the other side. But this side, we have a lot of underground rivers that will go together.
You know, what is the proportion of people that own the spots? Are they Mexican residents? Are they like tourists, not tourists, foreigners?
Both.
Lots
Both.
more foreigners? They're trying to develop resorts?
We have both. But I think there's more developers, Mexican developers, like in this area. They want to build condos for the tourists that are coming every high season. And sometimes they don't care about like if they're going to develop hundreds little tiny studios in 300 square meters. It's just an example. You know? I'm just mentioning. I'm sorry. No. I'm just saying. It's allowed depending the density. For a studio, depending in your project. Yes. 1,000 square meters. Yes, it depending because you need to use the density, you need to know which is the surface that you can build. Yes, depending the area. It's different because
No one's in here. Someone was in there. They're probably stepped away.
yeah. It varies.
That's fine. I barely get more than 10, 5 minutes.
It's a lot of money, unfortunately, here.
Being able to call people like stuff.
What they allow, it's basically how much.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so thank you, Carlos. Awesome presentation.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Okay, so yeah, Carlos, thank you for that presentation. Wonderful. It's important to see where development's going, right? A lot of people in Mexico, there's rules, but then there's ways around them a lot of the time. So these development plans that set densities and set certain restrictions, we end up seeing that they're bypassed. Number of houses that belong on the property are usually exceeding to maximize profits. So the more of us that are aware and the more decision-making process that can happen, especially that question about if the realtors are working together, it would probably be very beneficial to kick off a mini community of realtors, probably leading up to helping purchasers make more informed decisions on the process. Could be something that we kick off as like, a sub-child of the Regen Saloon project for like Regen Realtors. And this kind of goes hand in hand with the concept of us being a self-organizing organization. Groups of people that find their interest, group together with others of that interest, and take ideas into actionable projects and missions. Our next presenters, Chucho, and Chucho and Mucho, everybody, from PetFast, an awesome innovative company. I came across them in my first couple of weeks here in Mexico. My mission started with plastic. The biggest challenges tend to be the biggest opportunities just hidden by challenge. And they're really looking at plastic as one of these, right? Plastic being one of the most innovative materials of our time too. It's revolutionized the way we live. The medical industry, the construction industry, everything that we touch, pretty much clothing items are made out of plastic. They've developed a way that traditionally with heat, you could turn plastic with some kind of catalyst that tended to be noxious into energy. But they've done it with a little bit of heat, some pressure, and vibration. So they're gonna go ahead and share what PetGas is about and how they are growing this business and sharing it to bring the solution and share it with more people. Thank you guys.
Hi everyone.
Hey.
We will see the one video about the plastic problem right now, and after that we want to have a round of questions. Okay. Chicho Cuoto is the chief manager of communication and people, no? De la titulation de la empresa. And okay, let's start.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 seconds have passed, and 75 tons of plastic were used. When this video is over, we will have used over 1,000 tons of plastic waste in the planet. This is equivalent to throw away $1 million every single minute. Plastic is the industry's preferred raw material, and it is part of our daily lives. But only 8% is reused and reintegrated into the economy. PetGas converts plastic into energy. We are the technology that transforms plastic into fuels without a catalyst, financially sustainable, and above all, environmentally sustainable. We transform plastic into 5 highly efficient energy sources that replace 100% fuels, such as gasoline, diesel, kerosene, paraffin, and LP gas. Today, sustainability is a smart investment. 9 out of 10 investors prefer sustainable companies to invest. Investing in the planet is a great business. PetGas turns a public health problem into a big business opportunity. Join and transform the planet. Visit www.petgas.mx and follow us on our social media.
And now we will see the video about our process.
We are PetGas. In a short video, we will explain how our technology works. PetGas patent is capable of transforming all thermoplastics into fuels. These plastics are guilty of the huge plastic pollution problem on the planet. Currently, only 9% of plastics are recycled. The rest, if we are lucky, will be placed in a final disposal dump. But many of them end up in the sea or in some other ecosystem. PET gas simultaneously transforms our plastics into clean and powerful fuels without the need for a catalyst. These fuels exceed the quality of international fuel standards. They have higher performance than conventional fuels and do not have heavy metals. The PET gas technology introduces in its reactor the plastic waste. This is heated with LP gas derived from our process. When reaching the right temperature, our technology begins the alchemical transformation from plastic to energy. As the first part in our process tank, we receive all the parabens. These through different temperatures and specific pressures. In our second tank, we process kerosene with high calorific power. These, through a refining process, will transform into jet fuel. In our third process tank, we have diesel, which has a higher setting number, and we have achieved 20% more performance. After distilling and cooling this mixture, we obtain 102 octane power gasoline without heavy metals or wash rubbers. This gasoline is much cleaner than commercial gasoline. As the last tank, we have LP gas, part of which is used in the PET gas transformation process, and another part can be bottled for use in kitchen. Our mission is to deplasticize the planet. How? Transforming it. We want to provide the planet with a sustainable solution to the problem of plastic pollution. We do not see plastic anything. We see a waste with a high energy content. It is only necessary to transform it. Our vision is a society that transforms garbage into energy. A society that is aware of our obligation to transform our garbage into sustainable energy. A society that through transformation allows other species to coexist on the same planet. Our goal is to adapt our technology to any environment in order to transform all plastic pollution into energy. If you want to know more about our process, visit our fan page on Facebook, Instagram, or visit our website www.petgas.mx.
So this is PET gas. Thanks for being here. We are pretty much friends, from years now. They're happy to share what's going on with us. The last months, we made some movements that had allowed us the opportunity to take that technology to other countries. And we're super happy to tell you guys that we are on the way to go to Abu Dhabi. We just got a super cool deal with you guys in order to go and present them what we visualize like the next source for carbon change based engine, which is petroleum. Right now, plastic is everywhere. Pyrolysis technology is being developed since 70 years or more. The Chinas and the Indians were the first that understood that plastic came from petroleum, and they wanted to take it back. The difference between those technologies and better technology is that we don't use any catalytic to make it back. I mean, we put plastic in a reactor, we transform it from solid to gas, and then we condensate it in different types of fuel. So this is very, very cool because the way we made it, or the engineers made it, was just with vibration. No? So it's pretty much what's interesting about it, because we all know that everything is vibrating, but we finally discovered the way to separate and compensate the carbon change according with lead. And we're going to present that as a solution for the big crisis that we're having. And we are just speaking about, and we don't take action, and we are really starting to have big problems in our life and in the next lifetime. So the next steps for us as PET gas with you guys is to share and to try to make everybody's come together to what we're visualizing to have like this transition in between fossil fuels and non-fossil fuels, which are going to be cheaper, are going to be used by the Mayan people, which are pretty much like the people that needs the most energy in a sustainable way. It's going to be a Mayan train coming, and it's going to pollute more. It's going to be more tourists. It's going to be more companies all around, hotels, And all of that, it has a big plastic patch on the environment that we can't stop. So our goal is to try to mitigate as much as we can, putting it into the circular economy where right now plastics are not, no? Because right now, of the 7 different types of plastic, just 1 and 2 are being recycled, and the other ones are non-recycled plastics, but we call them basura or trash. Those plastics are exactly the same carbon-based chain, and they can be transformed also into clean fuels. This invention is for a Mexican guy. The patent just came last year. It came on 11/11, which is very cool. We are new. We are very happy. We just were founding. We made $1 million a month. We made nothing.
Yeah.
But it's for plants. I mean, it's not for us. It's not our money. It's to make machines, no? And we want to make more in order to make machines and really integrate this new value into the chain, no? Because right now there's no aluminum in the street because there's a value. People just take it and take it where they can get something back. So the next step in the gas move is try to fill the reactors, making the people get involved about the cleaning of the cities, of the environment, and everything. So we're running this plan. This plan is going to be developed maybe for a couple months more because we are really making it in a very accessible way. And what this plan is about is not to pay for plastic because right now plastic has no value. It's instead of paying for plastic, giving people something back for their time because they spend time in taking the plastic from the environment and bringing it to the point. Okay. But, so the principal thing about the non-recyclable plastic and mostly plastics is that we think that if we see this triangle, it will be recycled. And the only ones that can be recycled are not initially just 4 types into number 1, which is polyethylene terephthalate, and number 2, which is high density polyethylene. These 2 are the only ones that the recycle people get because there's a market that is looking for them. But there's another 5 that has no value. Actually, the hotels pay you to take it away from them, and they don't care where they put it. No. So imagine how many plastic bags they have for all the clothes that they have in their foods, all the polypropylene masks, all the polyester, which is Unicell, and all the rest of the plastic that has absolutely no value. Okay, those ones we want them to integrate it into a new value chain that allows us to give people a bit of what the transformation will be at the end fuel, right? The fuels are mostly the same, are ready to use, and we have 1 or 2 octane gasoline that has less sulfur, less heavy metals, and it has 10 more octane, which makes the car that goes more with less gasoline. Okay, this gasoline has been tested in our car for the last 5 years. It activates the gasoline, and it's coming from a source that nobody wants, which is plastic oil. The diesel is the ULSD with the low sulfur diesel, which is the diesel that the Mayan train needs. It has more cetane, it lasts more in the engines, and it's not fossil fuel, fossil based, it's not fossil based, okay? So sometimes people ask us, why it's gonna be more ecological to burn plastic? We don't burn plastic. Pyrolysis is in the absence of oxygen. We take the oxygen and it goes from solid to gas, so it never goes out to the environment. It's a closed process. Yes. This is the magic. For us to make a liter of diesel, it costs us less than the half of the price. It's gonna be 15% less. Yeah. 15%. Yeah. We just sold today just as a proof of concept some liters, and we sold it for 16 pesos a liter. Yeah.
What does the state run gasoline?
After the Reforma Energética, the energetic reform, Mexico was open to all the brands to come to the country and sell the product. It came Mobil, Exxon, BP, everybody came, because in Mexico we don't have enough gasoline and diesel supply to our cars. We have just 30% of 140 million liters a day. So as we couldn't, the government opened the market for everybody, and now we are able to sell, produce, and auto consume or sell.
Sell to them?
Yeah.
You can't sell it, right?
I can sell. We can sell to everyone. It's gasoline and diesel, but in a different name, because we're trying not to get the same taxes like the fossil fuels have, because they come from a different source, and mostly those taxes are to alcohol, tobacco, and fossil fuels because of the damage you are making to the entire, the earth and yourself. That's why you pay so much taxes, no? Because mostly those taxes will pay for hospitals or for, ambulance or a lot of that. And without that, we are trying to make this in the opposite way, because if you let the plastic just like that in the landfill, it will be photodegraded by the sun and it will become methane, and that's gonna increase the climate situation. So it must be something that it allows all the companies and everybody to be part of the solution and have something of that. That's it.
You have any plans to put a facility in Singapore? Lots of plastic that washes up from around the world. It's not their fault. Natural reserve.
You like private individuals, like if you say I wanted to buy a wholesale fuel, like to buy a storage tank, 5,000 liters, something like that.
Yeah. Part of the business model is that we can take this is the machine. See, this machine allows us to have these small tanks that are for 900 liters that you can. What's the rate? But I don't understand. Sorry. Okay, we want to supply the fuels in the small tanks, so we can talk a little bit also of the carbon chain that is on logistics, because right now the gasoline and the diesel that we're using in Mexico now, it's coming from China or Russia or so far away. So we want to clean locally, impact locally, have benefits locally, and try not to keep bringing fossil fuels from their source, which is far now, because the way we are getting those.
Is that available now, or is that?
Right now, we are on the B2B business. I mean, we are just supplying, not the public. We're supplying this company that has a lot of cars and they need it, and they are looking for a sustainable solution, and we're okay with that now. But we are growing fast, and we are on the way to make 6 more plants for all the One is going to be blue, and mostly in maybe in 1 year we will start putting some gas stations where you can pay with plastic also with gas. Yeah.
How much does it cost to build a facility? An investor would come and put it.
Okay, this plan that is in Cancun cost us $1 million, and that makes around 4,000 liters between gasoline and diesel a day. So with that number, maybe you can have like a return on invest idea, but it's very limited. Dollars, yes, yeah.
So when we get to $3,000 even dollars per day.
Yeah.
30, 65, you can multiply like $100,000.
Yeah.
10%.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Can you share a bit more about the collection process of the plastics and what your system is for involving the local communities?
Yeah,
I'd love to.
that's a cool one. Yeah. The main idea of the program is based on the 17 sustainable goals of the United Nations, which is very much like stop hunger, clean the oceans, clean the environment, sustainable cities, and all this together. What they pretend is to create new value where there's no value. So what we're trying to do is to make the people incentivate to bring to these new facilities that we're starting to build in Mexico and the world, where we can trade you with points, and with this super easy and non-expensive pulseras, bracelets, we can track how much plastic you give us, and we can give you rewards back. What are these rewards? Anything. I mean, because we created with the whole community. No? Right now, it can be, for example, the ferry to cross from Chiquilar to Folgos, because we're dealing with these people, and they are happy about making tourists and everybody collect the plastic of the streets and take it into this place where we can incentivize that as a value and pay less or not pay nothing to cross. No? That's the. And in that equation, we want everyone, because right now there's a very wrong message with the stop using plastic, and right now plastic is everywhere and it saves us from COVID, and it's going to be there forever. So let's treat it as a source, not as a waste. And in that mindset, we have to change the way we see it, and we have to take it from the environment, because the nature can't offer it. It's different than everything else, no? It's like an answer for it. So we're starting with plastics. We're having a lot of new problems of our health because the bad disposition of plastic, but we won't stop using it. So that's the idea, no? Try to incentivize the way people see it, bring it to us. And why can we incentivize that much? Because we don't have to have long expenses as the fossil fuels have. They have to look for it, they have to refine it, they have to sell it so far, they have to put so many different taxes, and that makes a big price. This is the same quality, it's a best quality, same product, super lower cost. So it allows us to bring value to the chain.
Not just the cost, government taxes, these are being prevented, so the cost, actual cost is being very low. Because the logistics coming from so far distances, and the government placing so much taxes due to hospital beds and due to these things, environmental taxes.
What are the incentives that you're considering for the local population?
We have the paraffin factory, let's say, because the first process in the process, it makes paraffin. This paraffin is sulfurless and without heavy metals also, and we can make candles or cosmetics. So we're planning to develop this into the Mayan communities, so they can sell this to the hotels, or they can sell it online, or they can do whatever they want, because that's a new commodity that they didn't have, and we want to share that, you know, for example. And it's mostly incentivizing what everybody needs for life, which is energy.
Plastic as a point. Plastic as a way of trading,
Exactly.
as a
Plastic
coin.
as a value. Yeah. A new value, no?
I wanna share this other video with you guys.
We are the generation that realized that packaging is more important than what comes inside. That our impact on Earth is greater than we thought. That we want to leave a bag that is not made of plastic. That if we have the ingenuity to create it, we also have the ingenuity to take advantage of it. That alone we are a drop, and together the ocean. But the planet is everyone's world, and we have to take care of it. That we have the opportunity to change tomorrow, but we are already late. We should not reduce, but today we are rebelling. We need more transformation centers, and together we can do more. Something. All the large and small companies, let's go together. We are responsible, and together we are strong. Do not throw it away, transform it. Plastic is energy. Let's transform together. For more information, visit www.petgas.mx and follow us on our social media.
Yes.
I mean, everything's here for the economy right now. For all these projects and initiatives. You partner with any company that remove that plastic that's actually, found in the old beaches. Are you partnering with companies?
Yeah, actually, we're speaking to some ONGs. Huracan is one of them. But you know what's funny? Just the way it happened with the color TV, Mexican doesn't believe to Mexicans. It's just the way it is, And we started to have this conversation with Holland people, Sea Shepherd CEO, and they are super happy to run their ships cleaning the oceans before any Mexican initiative. Why? Because we are right now in the proof of concept of the, let's say, ground one. No, the next steps will be the ships, but the non-Mexican thought of way of thinking, it's always they see farther, no, than Mexicans to Mexicans. So yeah, we're speaking to some ONGs in Mexico, but I think that that's gonna become first in Europe because they have more time trying to make solutions with all the pollution in the oceans. Any, yeah.
Yeah, so their station is in Cancun. They had a prototype here in Tulum. The first time I saw it, it was quite small, probably fit in the space. Now it's a whole warehouse. So it's beautiful to see technologies like this proliferating and teams working hard to bring it to other places and expand, especially a Mexican invention going global. So congratulations, it's really awesome to watch you go. Thank you.
I have a question. Were you saying that there was an invitation for people to come to see the Cancun plant?
Yeah, anybody that would like to come, we can take it to the plant. You can take your plastic. You can see the process.
And you also support the beach cleanups as well, right?
Yeah, because at the end, the final disposition that the beach cleanups are giving it, it's stupid if you just put it into the landfill, no? So you're cleaning, you're just moving it from a place to another. So yeah, we always try to get involved in the final, no? Not for the profit, we don't care about that. We do care about people caring for the planet, so we try to make for the best, for everyone. That's a good question also. Right now, the business model it's in three steps: pre-transformation, transformation, and post-transformation. Pre-transformation, it's all these places before getting the plastic into the plant, where we get it, we shred it down in order to take volume of it, and we incentive it with points back. So yeah, we are looking for places where we can use places where people can bring us their plastics. We can shut it down. We have companies that are investing in this in the pre-transformation process because it's money. I mean, at the end, it's solid petroleum plastic in this process. So these companies, what they are doing, and it can be any company, it's to buy the machines in order to create this new value, and everybody gets a piece of the business, no? Because at the end, what we want to tell for everybody is that we think recycle this. It didn't work because it's not profitable for anybody. So even if you have a lot of strength to do cleanings and stuff, if you get nothing back or you're spending more money that you can afford, at the end you get tired of it and you just drop it, no? And that's happened in all the world. That's why 91% of all plastic is already there, no? Nobody took care of it. It's expensive to do it. But if we find a way to use it back, and all we have to do is take the volume, because mostly plastic is volume. My bottle is full of air. We shred it down, and then we have some value. We can pay for this plastic. We can pay for the people that bring us this, and we can create. Everybody get a piece of it. No, that's mostly what we're planning to do. And to make this, we need the people. We have the money. We have the people. We need the spaces to put the machines and to create this new blue economy with blue machines and everything that it's gonna. You will see, no, how we will do it right now in a very artisanal way, but at the end, when the loop becomes to give people rewards, it's gonna be faster, no? That's what we wish.
All right, so segue from speaking about rewards for people getting involved. The Regenerative project, as we mentioned, is a self-organizing initiative. Individuals interested in topics that they hold dear to their heart, taking action. And part of the process is to gamify this. Regenerative has established a way to reward the individuals taking action and getting involved. For example, creating your account. Going to regenerative.com and registering, you create a QR code for yourself. So when you recruit others, you get points. What are they called?
Launch points.
What is it?
Launch points.
Launch points, right. These launch points will eventually, as soon as the Regen token and the Tulum token launches, these launch points will equate to crypto that you will be receiving, that we will be developing a mechanism to bring value to the city and to empower projects doing positive things for Tulum. So go on the website, register your friends, exist in the system of Regen Tulum that is working to incentivize each of us to take action. Other things are signing up businesses for this letter to the president. We need endorsements from businesses and from individuals on a change.org petition. So all of this helps, all of it supports, get the president's attention of what's going on. And there's a leaderboard, so you can see what you're doing compared to your friends, who's signing up who, what businesses are signed up. All of this is on the Regenerative website. Anything else you should mention? NFT project?
Sure. Well, we're really still in the foundational stage of this in terms of getting the community incentives in place. We're in the process of actually putting different aspects of the community incentives on the website, as Oscar was saying. So you have endorsement and membership, but we're looking to a future in the next 4 or 5 days when you'll be able to say, I went to this event, I went to that event, even the ones last week or last month, and I want to get my credit for those. So you'll be able to submit for that. And then if you want to, for example, throw an event, we'll have a form there, and you just submit a really short proposal. I want to do a dinner party. I want to do a event with local farmers. I want to do an event to get a bunch of people together and do a street team and sign up a lot of people to endorse the letter to the president. For each of the people that come, and once your event has been just accepted by the council, you go ahead and do it, and every person who comes, you get credit for. So it's a way for you really to express something that you want to do, something that you want to bring to the community, and just do it. The council is really open to your ideas. And like I said, we'll be moving more and more of the things that we collectively think are important to happen into some automated processes on the site where you can get credit for doing these things. So like showing up at a beach cleanup or
Like even coming to these meetings.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Checking into these meetings, we're getting launch points that will equate to tokens later on. And the power of the collective is unprecedented. I think society has gone in a very individualistic way in the past, and this is the concept of what this new earth can really become. Us connecting, working together, finding ourselves, helping each other, and connecting to nature and supporting that process in different ways. So this initiative here in Tulum is an embodiment of that and is made up by each one of us, the collective, to really take things to the next level.
And this is an example for this. I'm super interested in NFTs. We didn't necessarily have NFTs as something that we were going to do from the beginning. Hey, I want to get experience in it. I think it has a lot of potential. And now there's a small group of us, 10 or so, that got together on Monday. And I think we're going to continue getting together on Mondays at 11 to talk about how we can really use NFTs to fund all the foundational elements that we'll need to have this regenerative community currency that bundles 3% of each transaction to a regenerative fund that we all vote on. So that's going to cost a little bit of money, but NFTs, I think we have a great possibility for being able to use that as our really our launch pad. And the cool thing is the way we're thinking about it is we'll have multiple collections. So if you have an idea for being, a collection of NFTs that you think would be great for Tulum, because everything you want to do is going to be Tulum themed. So if you have an idea, then you can find some other people to work with and put in a little proposal. You get approval for it from the NFT team, and you can just move forward, start getting the artists, and you'll get support for the team. When it comes down to it, the artist and the producer will get between 40 and 50%. Regen Tulum will get 40 to 50%, and the team, the NFT team, will get another like 10%. So the notion here is that we can really split this up in a way that rewards people for participation, for your ideas, for the artists, the people who actually drawing things, and still funnel a nice stream of money that can help this decentralized movement, this thing that we're doing that really hasn't been done before, at least in the way that we're doing. We can have enough money to get that to launch off well, and get the foundational things with the web and with the on ramps and off ramps with the currency, so you can buy the currency with fiat and the system that allows each transaction to be put into the blockchain. So there's a lot of stuff just in that. Then you think about the Save Sacred Waters campaign, the PR that's going to need to be done, and so there's a lot of different things. But with this NFT and with everybody who's feeling really creative around hosting some type of collection, we can bring all that we want to do with Regen Tulum into the world and more. All these things that we've been talking about. So I'm super excited about it. 11 a.m. on Monday. We'll post it to the Regen WhatsApp group. And even if you barely know what an NFT is right now, please consider yourself very welcome to show up for that meeting.
So inspired by the beat, I've been considering a topic. One example that our team's going to be working on is a campaign that we're working on the name Skin to Skin. We're going to find the biggest, most beautiful trees here in Tulum. More than likely sabos, the giant trees that are like very, very wide in diameter. We're going to be doing a casting call for anyone who would like to model on one of these shoots. We're going to essentially wrap around the tree, holding it. We're going to take a picture of this epic tree, and we're going to connect a machine that reads the electromagnetic sound of the tree. And we're going to layer this voice of the tree with a group of people hugging it. And we're going to create a campaign out of this.
I wonder if it would change the music of the tree by hugging
I
it.
was thinking the same thing.
Oh
Maybe
my
like a
goodness.
Before and an after.
Yes.
So this is kind of
And during.
Right. Yeah. So if anyone's interested in volunteering for a photo shoot like this, please reach out.
I'm in.
Yeah. We're gonna reach out to this. We have a photographer ready. We have a friend who's like buried in the space, connected to the water treatment people. We might go big on this one. And the number to raise for one of these water stations is $25 million. So if we set a goal like this, who knows, man? People are making millions of dollars on one NFT. So with a spotlight city like Tulum and the concern with the environmental degradation that's been seen here so quickly, anything is possible, especially with awesome people sharing and taking like the power of the collective viral and exponential. Another topic that inspired was this event tomorrow at this community, Kuya Bay. If everyone's in the Regen Tulum chat, we passed around the schedule for shuttles. There'll be shuttles picking up from the Super Key at 11:30, 12:30, and that's it, 11:30, 12:30.
Yeah, one of the spots
And then someone's sending a car for carpool. So if anyone's free tomorrow between 12 and 5, we'll be hosting an event. It'll be a group of humans that care about the environment and just want to connect for half the day and spend it in a regenerative community. Yeah.
Is it going to be fun? No?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's going to be actually an altar with pictures, kind of like the altar here. Traditionally, what Day of the Dead is about, celebrating the fact that death is just the beginning and remembering the lives of those people that touched us and the birth of this regenerative movement here in Tulum. If anyone has questions about that, we'll stick around and answer. There'll be food served at the event, traditional local food, traditional to the Day of the Dead, yeah, pan de muerto and other delicious things. Does anyone have any questions? Would you like to share anything?
Is it child-friendly event?
Yes, there'll be a children's painting, there's a park. They've, at this community, they've established all of the shared spaces for where the community will begin to connect and live and grow. So all of this, we're gonna do a tour of the agriculture garden there, and a couple of other things in the space. Okay, yeah, so we are working on multiple channels of staying communicated with what's going on. The NFT conversation is live and thriving in our Discord. Discord is just like a WhatsApp group or WhatsApp app, but it has like sub channels. So everything doesn't just fall on one channel, which is hard to keep up with. There's like one chat for NFTs, one chat for beach cleanups, one chat for general events and things. So if you guys want to get a little more technical savvy, download Discord, jump in there and get more connected with subgroups so we can self-organize more effectively and create more impact.
How they find the Discord?
Regenerative Geniuses. It's actually, Regen Tulum has a...
It's on the website. It said regentulum.com/collab. And it has all the WhatsApp groups and the Discord.
Does anyone want to share anything environmental that's happened recently? Today was a recyclathon here in town, every last Friday of the month. Where is it? Okay. Right, so once a month, there's an activity where they collect everything. Tetra Pak, batteries, glass, appliances. We didn't make it because we hosted a co-work session today at a different regenerative community where we prepared everything. So there's a lot of cool things that are going on. And as a concerned community member, it's up to all of us to be aware of them, support them, like you guys are doing today, and share them more than anything to spread the impact that all these things can make for Tulum.
Also, next Saturday, there's another thing that's compost farm. So if you have your organic waste, you can come and have the compost in another process, and in exchange you get some stuff that is the effect of that, like the compost. But if the Saturday is not good for you, it's going to be once a month, then anytime you want, you can connect with us and you can bring your organic waste to a couple of places in Tulum. So if there are ways to do it, just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so any questions, just reach out to Loom, follow the Instagram, DM it. We are accessible on Regen Tribe, kind of a human element, sharing events here in the city, connecting people, finding communities where people congregate, and meeting them, sharing information, and kind of creating some synergy between all of the magicians here in Tulum.
Big thanks to this place.
Right, yeah, and huge thanks to Digital Jungle. You guys have really created and held the space for a lot of the magic that is developing and happening every day. So thank you guys. Epic. Anyone else want to share anything? Any questions?
On Monday, at the end, we are going to have a meeting here for brainstorming about the different ideas to get more endorsement about the letter of the president. You are all invited, and also for the next month, all the Tuesday, we are going to do the same thing that we have this week, going to the business owners.
Did you all talk about that yet at all?
Yeah.
Did you talk
We had
about?
a good talk about how.
No, but did you all tell them about how fun it was?
Okay, yeah, so yesterday, David, Sonia, Mao, Heather, a few of us met together and split up and walked down the city streets, going business to business, sharing with them. We got printouts here from Digital Jungle. They allowed us to share the mission of the president's letter with all these business owners, explain to them how important their support is to getting the president's attention, and essentially gave them the elevator pitch of what we're doing with the letter and how we need their endorsement, and signed them up. It's 4 questions on a website form that we have: an email, a website, a phone number, and a name. And we took a picture of their logo. We did it on our phones. We signed up, 12, 13 businesses yesterday.
Yeah.
Right, 50 is our number to pass the letter up, but the more the better. It was a fun day. We did it in about 1 hour, and it really helps to get more of these signatures. So if anyone wants to have an afternoon like this, and it'll be next Tuesday, there's shotgunning this thing.
It was super cool, and just to see the reactions of the people. No one said this was not important. They all said, "Oh yeah, this is an important issue." I was just blown away. Just going into any old hole in the wall and just talking to whether it's the owner or the other people working there. The reception was really great. Super fun.
This is just one way to do it. We can also some business owners to just send them sign up and make sure we win it, or some other people just spread the word and also join us next Tuesday.
Yeah, and just to be clear, to get your own barcode and link, because that's how we will track that these endorsements come from you. You need to go register on the Regen Tulum website, regentulum.com. You register, and then there's a page option to select. It might come up automatically, if it doesn't. Just go to My Referrals, and you'll have 2 different tabs. So one is for members, and one is for endorsement. So you click the one that says endorse, and it will give you your barcode, your link. Those are the ones that you can give to the store owners. You can send people emails, you can put it on WhatsApp, and you'll get credit for it. And we'd love to give you credit for it. So please, if you have any questions about that, certainly just put them on the list, but it should be pretty straightforward.
Okay, beautiful.
Both players
Okay. Yeah, we shared all the posts. Everyone who's not in the Regenerative chat on WhatsApp. Not okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Welcome, you guys. And again, thank you.
Welcome.
For
Yeah.
If anyone has a little spare change, energy exchange, they put out a tip jar to thank the staff who stays late and helps clean up and reorganize the space.
Yeah.
Thank you for the space and thank you guys for being here.
Went to back home for a little while, and then I came, went to Berlin for 10 days, and came back home. Back here. A bit, you know, I guess 1 year. Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of gatherings, conference. Yeah, so now I continue building. It's really about trying to. And I did. It's just, we'll see where it goes. Yes. So good to see you, brother. I'll see you tomorrow. You'll be here tomorrow, right? Okay, all right. Yes. Oh my God. Oh boy. Okay. All that stuff. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? Oh, good. I came here. What are you about to do? That's good. Oh, okay.
I think that's about it. Thanks for coming.